Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honor to our apostles, our elder bishops, brothers of great millstone and well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing the true doctrine across the four winds of the earth and all truth and sincerity. I'm Lamar Ariyah from the Mississippi Camp. Lord willing, this be a fine lesson. It's just a quick lesson through the spirit. And just going into how, you got men trying to or coming up with another doctrine now that the heathen would judge the Israelites, man. Okay. First, it was the heathen can be part of the heritage or the promise. Now they're gonna be able to judge Israelites. Okay, which is they're waxing worse and worse, man. Okay, these men are waxing worse and worse. They got to be paid off, man. They got or they have did something where they got something known. I mean, only thing makes sense is this devil got them in their pocket, man, some kind of way, where they have just been paid off by way of 501c3, or they got some kind of footage of them doing some kind of act. Who know? I mean, it's something. Okay, it's something. Okay, they're adding and taking away from the scriptures. They're bearing false witness. It's getting out of hand, man. It's really getting out of hand. We're too late in the game. We're too far down the field to be fumbling the ball, running out of bounds, trying to stop the clock. It's like, the fuck is wrong with these people, man? What the fuck is wrong with these men? But they're gonna be judged for their lies. They're gonna be judged for their wickedness. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is dealing with a particular people that he chose for himself. And in the nation that he chose for himself, he's keeping a cluster, 144,000 men, okay? As well as 1/3 Israelites who believe in Habashim and Al-Shai, who the Lord will have mercy upon. And the way these men are talking, I mean, it's beyond wicked, man. They're really, and people who are following them and believing them are being led to the slaughter. But at the end of the day, it's the will of Yahweh Shemi Abshai. And Salaki, I'm just kind of just like an impromptu. I just kind of started going into it, man. But I'm gonna get a couple of scriptures and I'm gonna close it out. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 9, chapter 28, starting at verse 9. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. As he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord Yahweh thy power, and walk in his ways. We walk in the ways of Yahweh Shai to the best of our ability, because we can't keep all 613 laws, but we can strive and fight and push to walk in the ways of righteousness to the best of our ability, and things that we can uphold, we do. Okay. Verse 10, and all people of the earth shall see thou art called by thy Lord Yahweh, by the name of the Lord, by the name of the Lord Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee. And who are all the other people? Okay, it's the other nations, man, the heathen nations, the other 17 nations that's in the Bible, man. And the Lord Yahweh shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and the land which the Lord Yahweh swear unto thy fathers to give thee. Okay, and we're not in our land. You have these small hats, big nose small hats are in our land. Okay, we're over here in Babylon. Okay, yet this day in our captivity. you know, striving, doing the work, doing what we can to please Yahweh Shemi outside, then we found worthy of being delivered from the judgment of the Lord, right? That we can be beamed onto those chariots, be a part of that first fruit, and come back on earth and rule under righteousness, starting with Yahushua, King David, and the 12 disciples. Okay? To rule under rulership of Yahushua, King David, the 12 disciples, and the governing body of the 144,000. It doesn't say anything anywhere in the scriptures about other nations ruling with the nation of Israel under Yahushua. Okay? Definitely not judging. Definitely not having immortal bodies. Definitely not becoming a great nation. Doesn't say it nowhere. Okay? But these are the things, a few of the things that the Lord was mentioning that we will have if we obey his law, statutes, commandments, right? Okay? But then when you go down to verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And who are the curses on, man? Who are suffering because, as a nation, because they fell away from their power, started worshiping false idols? Okay? Again, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. What nation is thriving? What nation controls the media, controls the radio station, controls the movie industry, controls the sports industry, controls the Fortune 500 companies, controls the medical aspect of the world? Okay? Who controls everything at the top tier of his establishment? Okay, Esau, Edom. And then you have what? The dogs, the other nations who are benefiting off of Esau ruling. Okay? And the curses are falling upon the nation of Israel because we fell away from our power, following the ways of the heathen and worshiping their gods, okay? Worshiping their idols, okay? And the Lord has punished us for that. So we're in Babylon to acknowledge our offenses and repent and come back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? Then when you go on down, what do I want to go to? Okay. Moreover, verse 60, moreover, he will bring up thee all the diseases of Egypt which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. Okay, so Jake is dying from all kinds of illnesses, man. Heart disease, cancer, uh, uh, health complications with thyroids, diabetes, sickle cell, you know, uh, um, some of the sicknesses and illnesses Jacob just suffering from, man. Down syndrome, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. The list goes on and on. But these sicknesses, these plagues, the Lord is bringing upon our people, man. Other nations suffer with it too, but not like the nation of Israel suffers from it. Okay? Um, all right. This is verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood or stone. So we have been scattered amongst the other people. That's why you have the confusion of faces, where because Jake looked like every nation. That's why the Spirit bears witness. Because Jake done planted his seed all over the globe, man. Especially Jakes that have been in the military. You got Jake that just travel. Jake who work out of town, doing this, that, or third. But nevertheless, Jake has dealt with every nation of women. So Jake is scattered, man. All right. And Jake started following their gods. Jake started following their ideologies and all that kind of stuff, man. Even Solomon fell victim of it. Okay. Verse 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. Right. Who is that? That's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Go and just read the scriptures. The scriptures go into Esau, Edom. He's not as troubled as most men. This man dwells in safety. This nigga, he can leave his doors unlocked, windows open, curtains all open in his neighborhoods, and ain't nobody running up in there. So he dwells in safety, man. Well, Jake, shit, he have a hard time depending where he live. He can't buy a new TV, man. If he do, he got to be on guard for Lord knows how long before somebody try to run up there and get it. You know? So we are going through all this as a nation, this punishment, and being ruled over by this devil and these heathen, when you still got these wicked ass so-called leaders of Israel, these leaders of these camps, these Genesis guys, even these other camps, IUIC, ISUPK, coming up with these whack ass, fake ass doctrines. But these Genesis guys, man, they trying to, just have these heathens going from rulership to rulership, man. I guess they don't supposed to be punished for what they're doing to the apple of the Lord's eye, for being in cahoots with Esau, Edom, with destroying our nation. This is a book back in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, spiritually Egypt, Babylon, America, right? By ships, by way of the transatlantic slave trade, bringing the southern kingdom over here in abundance by way of cargo ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So the Lord said he's going to bring us into Egypt again, right? He said he's going to bring us into Egypt again. Now, if we was brought over here by transatlantic slave trade and the time it took to get over here, how can this be talking about the actual land Egypt? This is talking about being transported by way of cargo slave ships to America, to the Americas. Okay. And this was done by heathen, Edomites and heathen. Okay? So we're here because our disobedience, hard head, and stiff neck. Okay? But if we would have done right, the Lord would have blessed us with everything. But nevertheless, we're going to still receive that by way of the promise given to our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But we just have to go through it to get to it now. We have to endure the chastisement, the straight gate. Okay? But we're at the end. That's why it just don't make no sense how these niggas are still trying to engraft these heathen and the devil to be a part of the promise, rule, and be judges, man. When these motherfuckers have their kingdom right here. Okay? The heathen are enjoying a rulership status by way of the Edomites, man. Because they're benefiting off the backs of Israelites oppressing the people under Esau Edom's umbrella, on Esau Edom's time. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 5. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all these commandments which I command thee this day, for the Lord Yahweh thy power blesses thee, and he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. And because of our disobedience, the Lord has us under curses. We're not borrowing. I mean, we're not lending to nobody. Nobody's coming to borrow from us, especially no nations. Just because you loan Jake a few dollars in the street, that don't mean shit. We're talking about nations wanting to borrow. Look at all these nations that borrows from Babylon because they print their own money. The Federal Reserve note is the world's currency. So this devil is already in power. These heathen nations are benefiting from this devil's rulership. But here these niggas go, wanting to give the heathen the green light to be able to judge Israelites. Giving the devils and the heathen the green light to be a part of the kingdom of heaven, salvation. Man, the Lord's going to destroy you guys, man. Okay? All right, this is the book of Titus, chapter 1. Starting at verse 9. Holding fast to the faithful word as he hath been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. And you have to hold fast to what you was taught. And we was taught by apostles, our elders, and brothers on down, man, to preach this word in its entirety. And Great Millstone has the 100% truth, according to the scriptures, to teach it in its entirety, okay, to convince the gainsayers, right? But every man must be fully persuaded in his own mind, okay? But when you're changing up the doctrine, flip-flopping it, you know, you're taking the ability of people to be fully persuaded in their own mind by way of truth away from them. You're swindling them, deceiving them. because you're changing up the doctrine. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially them of the circumcision. Okay, and that's them Genesis niggas. Okay, there are vain talkers and deceivers because they're coming up with all these off-brand fake doctrines, man, that are not concrete according to the scriptures. And when you go to Revelation 22, okay, it speaks on adding and taking away from the scriptures, man. Verses 18 and 19. Verse 11 is the point: whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. So let's get subvert, man, because these people, man, these niggas can destroy a whole house by way of these false doctrines. Overthrow, overturn, destroy, subvert. Right. So they are destroying people by way of leading them to the slaughter by giving them false doctrines, man. Which is completely wicked, man. Stick to the script. Stick to what you was taught. See what we got. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 63, starting at verse 8. My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand is upon me, upholdeth me. And we supposed to stay steadfast in this truth, man. We supposed to stay rooted and not being swayed and believe wholeheartedly in Yahweh Shemi outside, man. And follow the Lamb wherever so he goeth. All right? But those that seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. Okay? And these devils, man, they got these niggas that they done paid off where they can disappear off the surface, but they can leave these niggas up here to swindle, lie, and deceive people, man, to do their dirty work. You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. Okay? So they're doing the devil's dirty work, man. Okay, for filthy lucre's sake. They shall fall by the sword. They shall be portion of the fox, for foxes. So, Jacob's trouble, man, the Lord is going to have a special judgment for a lot of these guys, man. Okay, these liars. Okay, these doctrine alternators, want to alter the scriptures, add and taking away. The Lord is going to have a special judgment for them guys, man. Verse 11, but the king shall rejoice in Yahweh. Everyone that sweareth by him shall glory, but the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped. And that's the whole point, man. Because basically they're calling Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai liars, man. By adding and taking away from the scriptures, by saying that the heathen are going to be able to judge, they're going to be able to participate in the kingdom of heaven, the promises that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? The Lord told Yahweh Shai to ask for him the heathen for an inheritance, man. So if Yahweh Shai is going to get an inheritance from the Heavenly Father by giving them the heathen, and the elect are heirs with Yahweh Shai, that means we're going to get heathen for our inheritance, man, slaves. But then they going to be able to turn around and judge Israelites. They're going to be able to partake in the kingdom of heaven. Only way they're going to participate in the kingdom of heaven by way of doing slave work. Other than that, they're not finna endure or enjoy the beautiful joy that comes with being heirs with Yahweh Shai, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But you're going to have to hold your head down in the kingdom of heaven, man, for a long while for being this wicked, rebellious, and deceitful, man, towards your people. For this little vain whatever Esau Edom is giving you. Vain glory, the bag with holes in it, whatever, a platform, whatever. A seat at the table he's telling you going to give you, whatever, man. Every idle word shall be weighed, man. All these lies you're telling, the Lord's going to judge you for it. All you niggas, man. And that's why we pray Yahweh Shemi Shai to keep us grounded, keep us humble, and not to have a proud spirit, so we won't be thinking ourselves to be something we are nothing. Because that's one of these guys' problem, man. They lack of fear Yahweh Shemi Shai, and they think they are something when they are nothing. You know, they think they're bigger than the program. And the program is Yahweh Shemi Shai. We will be magnifying the names Yahweh Shemi Shai, preaching and teaching and prophecy, and you know, doing the work in the will of Yahweh Shemi Shai to the best of our ability. Okay? And see, Apostle Tar already came out with the 2026, the year of apostates, sellouts, and shit. Okay, so like the year of apostates, sellouts, and shit, it's on tip of my tongue. I don't know why I can't. I've been saying it ever since I heard it. And agents, Salakia. The year of apostate, sellouts, and agents, man. And we know them niggas probably a little bit of all three wrapped up in one. But nevertheless, man, Lord willing, it was an edifying lesson. I know I was kind of ragging on, but Lord willing, it made sense and was edifying to the elect. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honor to our apostles, our elder bishops and brothers of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.